Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Race to 100. I am Rick Storsell.
And I'm your co-host, Neil Batang.
And we are on episode number 27. Moving along, man.
Moving along, man. It's been a fun ride.
It has been. So today we thought that there was a question. Neil and I had been talking after we had shot yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about our backgrounds. And I'm a third-generation American on my mom's side, and Neil happens to be a second-generation. Just, you know, both his parents moved here, and here he is now as an American citizen. So I was thinking to myself, that's got to be a different experience than, say, some of the African Americans who many more generations since slavery have lived here. So, I mean, is there a difference? Like, do you notice a difference between you as a second generation American and somebody who has been here significantly longer?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. You have a better idea of who you are and where you come from.
Yeah.
And it shows in your interactions. Like, I know where my family comes from. I know, my father's village, my mother's village. I know, where my ancestors came from.
So those are like important
and what they're
parts
about.
of
And those are important parts of your life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you come from?
So how does that differ from Americans who have been here since slavery?
Well, unfortunately, they don't have a clue. They don't know. I mean, for example, my last name is Batang. That's an African last name. That's a Cameroonian last name. That's my
part of
name of my ancestors.
Yeah,
part of my heritage. Whereas a lot of the African Americans in this country, they've got European last names. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't a part of their heritage. It was something unfortunately forced upon them. And
are you treated any differently? Either by your fellow immigrants or...
My entire life, because for the second generation African immigrant, you're constantly struggling between different identities. Kind of like what I mentioned when we first started doing Race to 100. You're trying to figure out, where what group you kind of belong in. You feel like you're not American enough because you're a second generation African and you do things differently than the kids in school. But you feel like you're not Cameroonian enough because it's not like you're over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Engaging and experiencing.
And you're not
the
seen
culture.
as a native when you go back. You're seen as now like I'm seen
as an American or as a foreigner, and then even in the black community, you're considered less than black sometimes.
Really?
Oh yeah, all the time, because you are an African who might speak proper and know who you are. I mean,
so they just not give you respect?
What does
that look like?
People always respected me because, for one reason, I played sports. I was always cool with people, and two, I could always dish it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing about African kids, second generation immigrants of Africa, that they're tough kids. They're very resilient, and they know who they are. I've had conversations even in high school where black people will say that Africans aren't black. That's how ignorant people are. Like, they will say things like Africans aren't black. Like, they'll talk about filling out a standardized test sheet, and the part where it says African American, they'll mark the other bubble because they're not African because they didn't grow up.
So
in
second
Africa.
generation, or you're talking about?
Oh, like far removed from Africa because of slavery.
And they put other.
Exactly.
They don't consider themselves African.
Exactly.
Interesting. And that's common?
Oh, that's very common.
Interesting.
In the black communities. I'm not African. I'm black. What has Africa ever done for me? You know what I'm saying? So again, man, it's unfortunate when you have these kind of conversations with people because their thought processes are unfortunately ignorant, and they're set in their ways, and they don't realize that this thought process idea of how you process this information is really setting yourself back. Something I implore people to do in the black community is do one of those DNA/genealogy examinations and figure out who you are and where you come from. It's not that expensive to do, and I hear the experience is very rewarding. So yeah, I encourage people to check that out. You know, I'm fortunate, you know, that I don't have to. I'll never have to do any of that because I do know where I come from and where my ancestors grew up and what my culture is, but not everyone is as lucky.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I got
so
nothing
yeah.
more to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
I
it.
think
So
that was fascinating. I mean, the fact that there is this prejudice within the black community when
Yeah.
it comes to immigration.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that
Oh, yeah. Oh,
just
yeah.
knowing where you're from
Oh,
is,
yeah.
is such an important thing for
Oh,
you
yeah.
as a second generation.
yeah, let me just add on to this that there are prejudices between American blacks and Africans. Let me tell you, the prejudice is so strong that people don't even realize it. Like Africans that come to this country, all right, they don't identify with African Americans, with black Americans,
Okay.
and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? They don't really mess with them, all right. They don't really mess with us. There's definitely a prejudice there. Sometimes even more stronger than the prejudice that whites feel against black people. And it's so unfortunate, but you see it from a mile away. People like me, you know what I'm saying, who grew up in the United States that have been fortunate to deal with the best of both worlds are responsible for bridging those gaps.
Yeah. Nice hand motion, by the way.
You know what can I say? I like his talk, man.
The
This guy,
the bridging.
yeah, you know, this guy. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's so dumb. It's so dumb, man. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be like that. Things are getting better.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah,
As
it's just
those
something,
second generation
you know,
immigrants
you know,
become
yeah, you know, more familiarized, integrated
country
into,
and, you know, hopefully people are able to keep in mind their histories as well.
yeah.
So
Yeah, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to our channel for more quality episodes, and tell us what you think about this topic. You know, if any of you guys watching out there, I'm sure you are, our second or third generation immigrants, what your experience is like growing up in this country as that.
So we will catch you next time on the race to 100. Peace.